Welcome to the channel, folks. Clunkers and Classics. Got my little helper puppy and kitty's over here eating some dog food from the bowl. Well, anyway, we are just about ready to paint the 72 Nova. Okay, last episode, it's all in final prime except for the hood, fender, and door. And I just did the hood yesterday, so that's all ready just to scuff down for paint. And I had some little primer left over, so I did the top of that door. So I really just got half the door and this fender here to go. Reprime it, and then we'll start hand sanding it with 400 grit. Although I got to let this primer dry for a couple of days. So this episode we will get the black on it. I'm not sure about if I want to do the roof or not. I think just the hood and deck lid. So we're just going to paint the whole hood and the whole deck lid. Well, I got 320 grit. You can do 320 or 400, nothing lower than that. If you're doing a base coat, you can probably do 500 grit, 600 grit, somewhere around there. But I bought 320. It's just painting it with acrylic enamel, so it's good enough for 320. Okay, the solenoid's going out real bad since last episode. Before it would click, click, click a couple times and then it would start. Now I tried pulling it out, and it clicked it about 20-30 times before it finally caught. So I'm going to run down. AutoZone has got one in stock. I'm going to run down and get another solenoid. Hopefully that's what it is. Hopefully it's not inside the starter itself. Shouldn't be. Okay, another thing I got to fix. If you remember way back, did this panel. It had some cracks in it. I put some JV weld on there, and it's not holding, especially this one here. And I know I can get one of these cheap, but it's just a really pain in the ass to get it out. It's not easy at all. So I'm gonna lay some fiberglass and resin across these cracks. I think it's just this one and this one. I'm gonna lay a couple of some fiberglass resin and matte on those two areas there. So I'm gonna do that, do the solenoid. I'm gonna sand and reprime this fender and the door. I guess I can start while I'm waiting for the primer to dry, mainly on the hood. We can start on the deck lid because I painted that over 3 days ago. It's probably 4 or 5 days ago. And I can start hand sanding. I think we started over here on this quarter panel. You start hand sanding this down with 320, and then the other quarter panel, even though we're just painting the hood and the deck lid. But anyway, I'll be back when I get some more done. Okay guys, let's talk about this carburetor again. Had a bunch of comments saying I didn't seat the needle in the float. Okay, this is one of them Chinese carburetors I bought new. Not this, but the carburetor, and for the 78, because I didn't want to rebuild the carburetor, and I thought it was more screwed up than what it was. But all it was a stock float. Anyway, this carburetor didn't work worth a damn, but I did take the electronic choke off of it, put it on the 78's carburetor, bought a carb kit for the 78 carburetor, and just did the needle and valve, needle and seat. Okay, they did refund my money and let me keep the carburetor. I wanted to mention on Vice Grip Garage, he said now this one cost me about 80 bucks, and it was about the cheapest I could find. Vice Grip Garage said he's bought 2 of these and they work perfect. Chinese carburetors, and he paid like $55. But I know he put one on a Ford 300. I don't know what the other one was, but he mentioned it. So I don't know, maybe I got a dud. Maybe I should buy, you know, because it's well worth $50 or even $80. Have a brand new carburetor instead of. So anyway, I watched a guy rebuild one of these, and I didn't see him seat it. Now, see this is a Rochester knockoff. It's exactly the same as a Rochester. It takes the same parts and everything. But there's no, I don't know what y'all mean by it's just sitting on there. See? The valve, I don't know what you mean by. What do you mean it's supposed to be like that? You're supposed to put it in. Anyway, is that what y'all mean? Putting it in there and then setting it down in here? Because I took this apart and it's just sitting on there like that too. And same with the 78 and then the 72 Nova. It's just sitting in there. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, it didn't. Gonna go through that little hole there. Okay. It's just sitting in there like that, guys. It's not connected to anything. It can't connect to that little deal there because it's the needle valve is right there. It's right there. So there's nothing on there to seat it onto onto the float. No, the 78 and the 72 both run great without doing that. I think the gas just goes in there and floats and pops that up until it and then when it's full, this will push down the needle and shut off the flow through here. So yeah, that's the way it's made. Unless you guys are thinking about a different carburetor, thinking about a 4-barrel or something, but there's no way to seat that on there. Anyway, I figured I'd take that apart just to see, just to double check, but I already done 2 of them. Okay, so I thought I'd just mention that. In the future, I don't know if I want to buy any more Chinese ones or not, but anyway, I thought I'd mention the Chinese carburetor and the float and the needle valve there. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, guys, we got this fender in this door sanded down, ready to prime, but you didn't want to see me do the sanding and priming. You already seen enough of that. So would you rather go on a ride to get a solenoid in my Corvette? I just rinsed half the dirt road back there off of it, and we'll go for a ride up to AutoZone. I'll be back in a minute. Okay guys, it's awful windy out. Got the windows cracked, so the wind's pretty loud. But yeah, this is my 77 Corvette. I have a video of it. I did when I first started YouTube about a year ago, almost a year ago. And I went over the story of it. I think I did a test drive or driving it. So anyway, yeah, you can go watch that if you haven't. I figure I'll take it out for a drive. I probably haven't driven it, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Get out and stretch its legs. Just a 350 L82. Pretty much stock, I think, other than headers. So it's not real fast. My 85 red Corvette's a lot faster than this. Now, red Corvette, you hit the gas and it'll put you sideways. But this one's pretty much just stock. It's got a really good, it shifts really strong. So it's like, when you go through, you know, start off and hit second, third, it's real sharp shifting. Anyway, I'll be back when we pull into AutoZone. Okay guys, this is it here. Comes with a spring and the bolts and everything. And it was $28.99. So we'll see if that fixes the clicking. Hopefully, it's got to be that or the starter itself, but it's most likely the solenoid. So anyway, see you later. Okay guys, we're in the garage. Been in the mid 70s all week, and then all of a sudden today it's 57 and windy as hell. And then it's going to be up in the mid 70s tomorrow. So we're going to change over this solenoid. I'm going to wear my Delphi headband so we can see. If you want one of these headbands there, in the description, I'll put a link. Put in the promo code clunkersandclassics for 10% off. Okay, so take the positive off the battery, and then basically we're going to take off these 3 here. This little ground thing here, and then the 2 big Phillips screws right there. Okay, and here's a new one here. Come with all new hardware and spring and everything. So I'll be back in a minute when I get going on this. Okay guys, got the wires off. This wasn't a ground. This had a ground. That's the power to the starter, which we're hoping the starter isn't screwed up. It just keeps click, 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 and finally it'll catch. So anyway, you just twist it, pull it out, you leave that piece in there. Doesn't look that bad inside there. Anyway, you gotta get the right deal on there, which I don't think is supposed to have anything. They give you a couple extra screws. I think that's the one there. Put that on there with no spacer, just like that one. And put the new spring in there, like this. If I can do it with one hand. Well, let me put that on with two hands. I'll be back. Okay guys, I got it in. We'll give it a shot. That was it. That was it, guys. Okay, that's one little job done. Okay, I'll be back. Okay guys, if you remember from last video, this area here was packed full of cars. It's awful windy out. I hope it doesn't have wind noise. Anyway, this week we hauled out 16 cars mainly out of here. Still got over about 100 and some cars, but I'm not going to scrap all of them. I'll probably scrap another 50 of them, maybe. So yeah, 16 cars. I paid my friend Tommy. He only got 2 today. He didn't work yesterday. We mainly got him, most of them, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So anyway, after paying Tommy, I made $5,300 profit. So that paid for the Nova build. I'm not a big guy on YouTube where them big guys there, they make all kinds of money, enough to pay for all their cars and shit. But nope, I gotta hustle to make some money. I still got, just gonna start on this row here next week. Anyway, I'll be back. Okay guys, finished up all the priming, just this door and fender, and all the car needs now is to be sanded down with 320 or 400 grit. Now what I got, I'm gonna do mine in 320 since it's just enamel. Okay, that's what they sell at O'Reilly's. So you cut the you get a piece of sandpaper, you cut it in half, rip it in half, and then you take that in half and you fold it 3 ways, like this. That way you use that side and that side, and flip it around, and use that side. Okay, now if you haven't sanded much, or inexperienced at sanding a car, I'd recommend a soft block. It's just a thin, about 1 inch long, just like a sponge looking thing. Okay, and I'd recommend putting that above the sandpaper. Why? Is because you don't want your finger, when you sand like this, I'm fixing to sand this, when you sand it, you don't want your fingers digging in. Because think of it, if you have your fingers dug in like that, you're sanding it all. So use it like that. Keep your hand flat if you don't have a block, and just sand it like this, and kind of go back, kind of in a diagonal circular motion. And if you're unsure, all the little pinholes and scratches, deep scratches and stuff like that should have been taken out before this step. Okay, that was the last coat of primer supposed to have covered all that. But if you're still unsure, you can put another guide coat on this coat. Put a guide coat just like we did last time with the black guide coat, and just sand it till the black's on. But as you do these cars, you'll have a good eye of what's going to show in the paint and not going to show. Pretty much if it's smooth, nothing's going to show. But when you look at it real good, and if there's any little imperfections, you'll figure out that that's going to show. But if you haven't done this before, that's fine. Just take the extra steps with the guide coat, stuff like that. So I'm going to circular motion like this. So pretty much we're just going to do the whole car like that. But I'm basically just going to do where I'm going to paint the black for the stripes. So I'm still unsure on that roof. I don't know if I want to do them black stripes. It's kind of a pain in the ass doing it on the 78. But the deck lid and the hood, and then along the bottom from, there's Kitty right here. What you doing, Kitty? From here down, well, you're going to go a couple inches above that. So I'm basically going to sand all this stuff here. Then after I paint the black, I got to let it dry for at least 3 days before I paint the orange on it. Okay, so during them 3 days, I'm going to go ahead and sand the rest of the car, all the rest of it. Dust and stuff won't hurt the new black paint. It'll be dry, you know, after a day or so, but you don't want to. You want it to really harden up before you put masking tape and stuff on there to paint the orange. So during that time, I'll be sanding, scuffing down the rest of the car. But for time purposes, I'm just going to do the deck lid and the hood and underneath here. And I got to I'm going to be about a day late on the video. I got a family thing there to do tomorrow. So it'll probably be the next day before I get the black on there. So I'll come back and show you painting the black on there. I'll be opening up my new gun. I buy these guns at Harbor Freight 2 at a time, but we'll go over that when I come back. Oh, and also I got to clean out the shop. It's a complete mess. So take your air hose blower and blow all dust outside. We'll probably wet down the floor. And then all this stuff here I'm going to put away. Got a bunch of old cardboard boxes to put away and a bunch of stuff to throw out. And clean out this and blow out the dust as best I can. Put away all my tools, the tools that I readily use, and little boxes there. I'm going to put everything away and clean all this out best I can. So I'm going to prep it for, like, I'm going to paint a whole car, even though we're just doing the hood and the deck lid. But doesn't matter if you're just painting a few little spots, a few little panels, you'll get spots of dust in it. So it's got to be clean as can be, or, you know, within reason. Okay, so I'll be back when all that is done. And we won't have much to mask off. Just this, I think just the back windshield and the front windshield. Oh, the other step. Yeah, I'm going to take off all this masking paper too. Because, you know, I just get all crud and stuff will get into the paint, blow around and stuff. So we're going to freshly mask all the side windows, windshield, back windshield. And then after I paint the hood and deck lid gloss black, we're going to go ahead and paint these door frames here flat satin black. Okay, so we're going to mask all that up to paint too. And also, you got to take the car out after I finish sanding all this. Take the car out, blow all the dust and everything off, and then wash it. Okay, there's going to be a little, well, it shouldn't be too bad at getting water and anything. Got the new weather stripping and everything in there. But that is the secret to a good paint job, is to always wash your car before you paint it. Well, wash it and then, you know, let it dry for a few hours, drip dry, and then paint it. Okay, that'll cut down 90% of the trash that you're going to get in a paint job is going to come from within, you know, the calls within the house. It's going to be in from little cracks blowing in through the trunk, through these window felts, you know, any little crevice that holds dust. That's where it's going to come from 90% of the time. The other 10% is going to be in the air. Okay, so that's what you got to do. You got to wash it out real good, blow out all the trunk, blow out under the hood, spray water when you're washing it, spray under the hood. Can't obviously do in the trunk, but wipe it down with a wet rag. Come in here to the jams and everything, wipe it all down, wipe the inside of the trunk, wipe all the door jams with a wet rag, and get all that out. Blow all water in here real good. Oh, and the other thing we're going to paint black is this, the cowl here. I'm going to sand that down too. I'm just going to go ahead and paint all that black. Okay, so afterwards this will stay black, and we'll mask off the stripe here, and then, you know, this will be black, but we'll paint that orange. Okay, it's already painted, so this got to be washed too. See how all this dust and crap's in there? This is mounted on the car. You'd have all that stuff blowing around. So everything's just got to be sprayed down with water real good. All this area here, under here, spray it all, even underneath. Get all the dust and loose shit off. Okay, so I'm going to be doing that too. Obviously, I'm not going to film it or film cleaning the shop. So that's what's going to take the time. You know, the paintings, you know, don't take very much time at all, but it's just a prep. Say it's like, you know, 90% of a good paint job is a prep. You know, 10% is painting, so you're not going to see 90% of what I'm going to do to prep it. Okay, so that's when I come back. This whole area will be cleaned out, blow out all the dust, wash the car, and I'll have it all masked off, ready to paint that black. Okay, and then I'll show you. A bunch of people have been asking about the spray pattern and gauge pressure and all that stuff. I'll try to go over it, you know. Well, I'll go over that when I come back, right before I paint it. And I'll have the black paint all mixed up, and I'll show you the best I can of painting it. You know, this is my only camera. YouTube doesn't pay me enough to be buying new cameras like friggin' Tic Tacs, like most of these big YouTubers buy cameras every, you know. So I gotta protect this camera. I can't be spraying like right here, showing you, because all that overspray is gonna be right into the lens and ruin the camera. Done before is wrap the lens in like saran wrap looking stuff, and then from a distance, like back. Usually this is my tripod here, my tire machine. I'll set it up here and show you. But I can wrap it in saran wrap type stuff and show you the pattern. Usually test out the pattern on like here. Okay, I'll show you that a little bit, and show you the right pressure, because a bunch of people ask about that. And then I'll set you back here and I'll show you the painting. Okay? I know it's a long ramble, but like I said, 90% of this stuff is going to be done by the time you come back. Okay, so we'll see you back later. Okay, guys. Got her all washed, masked off, and ready to paint. Now, it might not look a little different, but I spent hours cleaning tons of cardboard out of here. So yeah, there's the cowl. Now, I'm going to go over this a little bit. This will probably title this like part 1 of paint, because I'm just painting a black. Here's a tack rag. After it's washed and masked, you can take wax and grease remover if you want, but I just use a tack rag because I don't have any grease or wax on my hands and there's none floating around in the air. But it's probably a good practice to use that stuff if you want, but I'm not too worried about it. So basically you just, this tack rag will get all the little lint and whatever's left over, little fine dust particles and stuff. Okay, using a new gun. I usually buy these Harbor Freight guns a couple at a time. The last couple, they used to be $18.99. They went down to like $14.99 or something. They were $14.99. They might have been $16.99. And anyway, I use them till they crap out, and they're just laying all over here. You know, I did catch a couple of duds, but now my last one's been lasting a long time. So what I basically do is use a new one when I'm ready to paint a car. And I don't paint, you know, I only paint a car every couple of months. You know, I might be painting jams and little stuff. So I'll use it once to paint a car, and then 90% of the time I'm using it just to prime, and I'll just use that gun. Like somebody commented last when I was priming it, oh well, the pattern's all, you know, the pattern's supposed to be, yeah, well, you can see the gun's just crapped out. It won't spray a good pattern or anything anymore, and it's not worth my time taking the goddamn thing apart to clean it. I did take the tip off once and cleaned it, just that tip, but you know, guys that have those expensive guns before they come out with these cheap ones, they would take all this stuff apart every, you know, couple of times a day or something and clean it all up. Even this gun here comes with they come with a little brush, you know. I don't know what else here, but so anyway, I don't. It's not worth my time. So okay, so here's my new gun, and it's going to be the first paint job with it. I've already put in some thinner. Get a new gun, put a little thinner in there, spray it out, make sure there's no contaminants in there. Okay, I've already mixed up some black paint. So I'm going to hook it up to the air hose, and I think I'm going to set you on my tripod here, which is my heater. Okay, hang on for just a second. Okay, plug it in. Got a bunch of people asked me before, what pressure do you spray at? I told them I don't know. I haven't looked at this gauge in decades, and I tried cleaning it off and I still can't read it. I'm going to try to read it. Okay, so this is the air pressure. This is a water separator. You have one on your compressor. If not, you'll have a drain on the bottom of your compressor, drain out all the water. Then this will adjust the air too, but this gun has a built-in regulator here. There's no air there now, and you so back in the day, before the HVLP, which is high volume low pressure, we used to paint with high pressure. I don't know, 50, 60 pounds or something. And that's the way you paint it. And these guns come out and you're supposed to paint with a low pressure. But just paint whatever pressure feels good to you. Okay? Now this is your amount of paint coming out of the nozzle. So you can mess with that. It kind of adjusts the trigger too when you do it. So you don't really have to mess with that. You figure that out pretty easy. And this is your pattern here. So I wanted to show you. So you have it all the way towards you. It comes out a circle. See? Right there, that's too high a pressure. So you're going to lower the pressure a little bit. Probably about like that. Then you turn this to get your pattern. Then you lower the pressure. So you have to get the pressure a little bit. You wanted an oval pattern. Okay, so you want it like that, a little bit. So you just gotta adjust the air by feel. So what it's at now, I don't know. I can't read it, even with my glasses on. Just whatever feels right. You just gotta keep messing around with it until it feels right for you. Okay, so I'm just painting the hood, deck lid, and along the bottom. So I'm going to set you up back here, and I'll show you how you want to paint. Is you overlap half of it. So when you get one pattern like that, you go half over it like that. And your air pressure also determines how fast you move your hand. You got high pressure, you want to go like that. You got lower pressure. Lower pressure, you get orange here. So, slower. You just got to keep practicing it. You've never done it before. You just got to keep practicing it. And it don't take long to figure it out. What spray's good for you. Okay. So that's it for the little lesson on the paint gun. I'm going to put on my mask, tack off the rest of the car, and then I'll set you up on my other tripod, which is my tire machine here, and I'll show you, let you see me paint a little bit. Okay, so I'll be back in a little bit. Okay guys, that's one coat. I'm gonna let that dry for 15-20 minutes, and I'm gonna put on another coat, and then that's gonna be it. Just 2 coats. Okay, there's a couple of bugs floating around, but hopefully they won't get in it. Okay, black you can do with 2 coats. I'll also show you I'm using my Nissan 2K urethane. Pissed me off because the hardener for it all dried. And then I had some backup acrylic enamel hardener that dried up. So I had some hardener for my flat black that was okay, so I put that in. This is supposed to be urethane enamel too, so anyway, hopefully that hardener works. Okay, so that's the paint I like to use, except I bought that cheap acrylic enamel for the outside, which we'll get to next video. I'll go over that. I actually made a video of that paint, explaining it a couple of months ago when I first bought it, before I opened it up, painted the jams and everything. Okay, so let me get the other coat on here in a little while, and then I'll be back to finish up this video. Okay guys, we got 2 coats on there. There's a couple little bugs flying around. One got on the outside here, but the stripe was going to be from about here to here, so it'll be all right. But anyway, that's the black. We're going to let that dry for about 3 days. Hopefully that hardener I use, different hardener, will work. And then we'll bring it in, and I have to sand all the rest of this primer here. I didn't do that. I'll do that while the paint's drying next couple of days. Sandpaper I showed you to sand, that was with this is called wet and dry sandpaper. So you sand it while dry, you know, all 3 sides, and you blow, you know, smack out the dust there every time. And anyway, when it starts feeling like it's no good and used up, you don't throw it away, you reuse it. You get a bucket of water, a little bit of dish soap, and then you reuse it. And you'll use your bucket and get on here, and I'll be doing this like this into water, and keep dipping the sandpaper in water. And I'll be using these old pieces here for sanding the rest of it. So you could sand the whole car in about 2 pieces. You don't even need, I bought 2 sleeves because I was using up the $50 worth of free battery stuff. So yeah, you only need a couple pieces of sandpaper to do the whole thing. I'm just anal about using up, not throwing away sandpaper when it still has life left to it. I get every ounce of life out of that stuff. Okay, so next video on this car, we'll be masking up the stripes and the bottom, and painting her hugger orange. So stay tuned for that. If you got any questions about anything, let me know on this video, and I'll put it in the next one when I paint it. Like I said, I can't see the pressure, exact pressure, and it really doesn't matter, stuff like that. But yeah, if you think of anything. Okay, thanks everybody for watching. I got that repairing the dash video is up to 128,000 views. So thanks everybody for watching that. I don't know, I guess YouTube recommended it or something. And I got a couple thousand subscribers. I'll be pretty close, about 200 away from 5,000 subscribers now. So probably get 5,000 here in the next few days, or at least before the next video. So thanks everybody for that. And oh, I painted this the flat black. I still got one more coat to go on this. I'm gonna put one more coat, so that door area is gonna be flat black. Okay, so Yeah, subscribe if you haven't. Bottom right hand corner. Got the cowl painted black. We'll be doing the 2 stripes here. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment. Got any questions? I'll try to answer them on the video or in the next video. Okay, I guess that's it. The next video. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next video.